Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to add an outline to your lettering in Illustrator. So I'm using Illustrator CS6, and I'm going to show you how to add a black outline to this lettering because our goal is to make a sticker. So as you can see, I have my layer palette here. I have a background, a gray background that I've set here. I locked the layer so I will see what I do, because if I remove it, I cannot see my white lettering. So I've added this light background, and we are going to work on this layer here. So this is really easy to make an outline in Illustrator because there is just the right tool for it. But I'm not going to use the outline directly on my lettering. I'm going to use it on another layer, and I'm going to tell you at the end of this video why. So the first thing that we're going to do is to duplicate this layer here. Okay, I'm duplicating it, and the top layer here, you can rename it if you want. I'm going to lock it down. This is going to be our lettering at the top, and this one here, I'm going to select it. You can rename it if you want. Rename it outline. I'm going to select it. Here I have my fill color, and I'm going to put it black. Okay, so if I hide this, you can see that we have our lettering here. It's the same as this one, but it's black. Then I'm going to select it again. I've locked my sweet lettering here, so it will not bother me if I try to select the whole thing. So I select my lettering at the bottom. I will switch here on stroke, and I will add a stroke here. So I'm going to make it 10 points. Okay, and you see that it adds an outline. So in reality, it adds an outline on this lettering here, but you can see it on this lettering here since it's on the front. So that's a good start. We want to make it a little thicker, so you can go, let's say, like 30 points. So as you can see, we have weird little angles here, and that's because we are set on straight angles. So at the angles, you have several modes here. On the angles, you can have pointy, straight angles, or you can have rounded or bevel angles. And what we're going to go with is rounded. So when you go with rounded, you can see that the angles are much nicer. Okay, you also have this here, and this doesn't really apply to what we are doing because it only works when you have a single line vector. So for example, if I were to do something like this, like that, remove the fill, you have just a stroke, and here it would be interesting for us to use this because it will rule how it terminates the line. Okay, but this is not what is interesting for us right now. So back to our lettering. So the angle, you can have pointy, but it will look weird depending on how you made your lettering. Rounded or bevel, which will make it like this, straight on the angles. So we're going to go with rounded, and you have this option here, which will tell you how the stroke will align with the outer shape. Okay, so if I remove this, if I hide the lettering, you have your lettering, your black lettering here. If I, for example, if I go with red here, you cannot see it because the stroke is aligned. It's centered here. So obviously you cannot see it because it goes over the lettering, which is the reason why I've put the lettering here on top. So it will not bother us while we are doing our settings. So back here, stroke, I can make it inner, but it has no interest for us. Or we can make it outer. And here you can see the red. You can see the red lettering, but you can also see that this part here, this part of the stroke, is going above the letter because this shape here is below this shape here. So the stroke is going in front of this shape, and this is not what we want. This is why I've put the lettering here on a separate layer, so we don't have to deal with this kind of stuff. You can also see that the lettering, the stroke of the lettering is much more thick. This is because now it's really 30 points. Before it was actually 15 points because it was centered. Now it's 30 real points outside of the lettering. So back to black here. Can put my lettering back so we can really see how it looks. So you can see that it's pretty nice. Maybe you don't want it to be that thick, so you can go back and you can put it like maybe 10, maybe a little thicker, maybe 20. Okay, let's say that 20 is nice. The problem here is that you have this part that you really want it to be filled. You don't want it to be to have some white space here. So what you can do is simply take your maybe your pen tool, or maybe you can put this this tool here that will allow you to paint like that. You can just paint, and it will just create a shape that will fill this spot. Okay, so let's say that we're happy with this. We're done. So what we want to do now to make it ready for print is to expand it. We need to expand all of this. Not we don't have it must not remain an outline. It has to be expanded, so it's not editable anymore. Okay, so you simply select it either here, or you can do CMD or Control if you're on a PC. CMD A, and it will select everything that is selectable on the artboard. So select everything, object, and it will be expand aspect. Okay, so everything expands, and then in the Pathfinder you join everything. Okay, join everything. So you can see that there is this part here that doesn't want to be joined. Click several times, everything will join, and you're done. You have your outline here, and if I hide it, you can see that it's totally filled. So you won't have any problem when it prints of any thin separation here. Now with this, you are absolutely sure that it will print nicely and it will look great. One last thing. If you are a control freak like I am, maybe this outline will, because it's nice, but it's not perfect. Maybe it doesn't exactly look as you want. For example, you have this little part here. You see this little pointy part here and goes back here. Maybe you want it to be straight. I can understand that. So you can use the outline here as a template and do your own vectorization of the outline above that. So you can totally do that. Usually you will want to make it, you double click it, you click template, it fades a little. It should fade a little. If it was the drawing, it would fade, but you can just add your own layer and go here, use your pen tool and use that as a template to make your own vectorization and add maybe little things like that. Do your own vectorization and fine tune it a little. Okay, so this is possible, but really, if you're not like the same control freak as I am, or if you just want to do it with no fuss, just go for the outline tool in Illustrator. It really does a great job, and here you can see that you have something that really nice and that you can use for your stickers.